Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode of the Underlap podcast. We're a little bit confused here between all of us. We don't even know what episode it is, but it's episode number.
How to find out here now? Hold on. This
Jimmy.
is episode number 6.
Number 6. The summer is gone, folks. It's pouring out of the heavens outside. Now, the only good thing is there's lots of pools to lie beside. Back in a few minutes, and we'll have a look at the last round of matches and look forward to the quarterfinals. What's with the umbrellas, lads? Men from Granard and yous. Welcome back, folks. And on this episode number 6, or is it 5? Episode number 6, I'm joined as usual with Jimmy Connell, a bear assessor, and also with Podgy O'Brien, who is the sports editor with the Longford Leader. Lads, we're getting a bit closer to the final determination as to who will reach the final and possibly then win the championship. How have your views on the matter changed since the start of the season? Jimmy, you first.
Well, I think I got every prediction I put in wrong, so far so good. If I can keep that going, whoever I predict to win tonight will be quite happy. But the last
you had Clongish, am I right?
I had Colin Kill.
Oh, Colin Kill.
And the middle had Clongish.
All right.
But they're still there, Colin Kill.
Yeah,
so I'm still happy with that. I'm surprised that Granard are gone and Carrie Gedmond are through. That was a nail edge one, But apart from that, I think we're as we probably predicted. I guess.
And yourself, Podgy, would you change your views as to who would win? Clongish?
No, Clongish are growing in stature. They're after the last round match there weekend with Kino and Colin Kill. It was only a tough spot, but it had big implications on the actual draw. Clongish are very much in pole position, and they're in the tougher half of the draw now. If there's such a thing, but these guys will revel in the park. I think they might have learned the lesson a couple of years ago when they lost the finals to Kilo, I think it was, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And now they're back and they're beat by Colin Kill last year, if I'm not mistaken, at this same stage last year.
Yeah, in the quarterfinals.
So they're back now. So they say sooner rather than later for Clongish, but where things are going, it looks like this show.
So let's start on those games. So Clongish played number 2 in their group, Rathline. Podgy, were you at the match?
No big deal. Excuse me. Wasn't at that particular one, but again, I got glad I wasn't because Patrick, it was in Carrigaven. Patrick Arnold after that. I think it was 5-17 to 1. Now that was a serious score against, and Rathline had basically at full strength. Don't know how way they approached the game mind-wise, but 5-17 to 1. That was some hammering, and if they can recover from that, I presume they can because they were through and they're geared towards. They probably said, look, it doesn't really matter, we'll play, and then, as it turned out, they ended up playing Carrigaven. And now we have Rathline and Carrigaven in the quarter final, and one of them is going to be the semi-final for the first time in a long run, which is great for the championship. That you have an unfamiliar name in the last one, and whether it be Rathline, they didn't win the match for nothing in the bit having error as well. So like I'd say that you couldn't judge them on the English. So
performance.
I watched that one in Clubber, and Recline were very subdued in that altogether. There was no bit of spark.
Yeah, there was no moving forward, no energy.
No,
Yeah, it's
but I
like a
suppose they
damn
knew they had the job
squid.
done. But I'm beginning to wonder now how much better are Clongish than the rest of the pack in that group. You know, they may be just that so far ahead that they're just putting pay to everybody, you know. And maybe that other group was a lot tighter than you know, Clongish were just so far ahead that you wonder how good McLean are, is what I'm trying to say. Even though they're second, maybe the opposition aren't just as good as we thought.
Well, Clongish certainly had a great game. They moved forward very quickly and as usual, and like they had some great scores.
Oh, yeah, they're really on fire, yeah.
So in the same group, Abilara played Slashers. Now, unfortunately, Slashers didn't seem to come to the table much. Is that unkind?
well, no, they were outclassed in the first half, Mick, and there were a couple of goals down early on. Hodgin Berry got a goal on Carl Gilligan. It was 4-6 and 3 points at half time. Yes, the game over, and Slashers played. It's sort of a bit of pride or 3 goals in the second half. This game was done on us till half time. I was thinking submission the Sabilara team are coming right just at the perfect opportunity.
But to what extent have injuries played a huge part or played a part in the Slashers' performance?
Well,
Hodgin.
they lose 2 key players. They lost Ty McNevin, gone for the year, and Sean Morgan gone for the year. Now they're centre half back and full midfield respectively. So against Abilara, we brought out Ronan Sheehan full back and put a midfield. Well, Abilara from midfield to full forward. Now, Robin Peter to play ball. The full back line was not near us. You know, they were under an awful lot of pressure. Were really happy. But people were seeing he's kind of an unsung hero. He's a big lad and he wins a lot. He's even you just catch him, he gets his fist in. You know, so our options was very limited. It's only 2 injuries as such. Two key men. It changes the dynamic of the whole team in the sense that we can't afford such kind of this now, you know. And
Like the likes of Clongish can afford to miss
Oh,
even
yes.
a couple of good players because they've so many in
Lots of
reserve.
bench and
It's
Kilmore
that-
similar, yeah.
Color similar,
Yeah.
you know, but it's just that
And Colin Kill can afford that too, you know.
Sessions are out now, and there was soul searching to be done. Connor Clark, first season as manager, he was dealt a tough hand with the injuries and really needed everybody. So if they come out with the relegation scrap, they build for next year. So,
The other game in that group, Jimmy, was
Mullinat and Father Manning Gales, yourself
Yeah.
and yourself were at that, and we were sort of doing the maths that there was a possibility Slashers could get in, and where James was looking on Clubber at half time, he says that's it, you know. But Mullinat were down a few players. Niall Woods wasn't playing, Jimmy McGivney wasn't playing, Emma Brady wasn't playing, so they were down those few. There was one more, I think, as well that they were missing. But still, the you know, for Father Manning Gales, they did all right in the first half. There was never a doubt in that match. You know, it was very impressive from Mullinat. Just controlled the game all over the place. They just did what they wanted with the ball whenever they wanted. I thought, it's gone now. The wing half back, Shane Mulligan. He just dictated everything in the feeding there, you know. And Jason Match was very very good, you know. There was no pressure on him at all during the game, really.
so. Looking at Father Manning Gales, is there any positives for them out of this season? Like,
Well, I suppose the positive for them is that they won the intermediate last year and they got a crack at senior, and now they know what it's like up there, you know, and it's a difficult place to play.
and of course they're not gone yet.
I was talking to Trevor before the match, Trevor Clendenning, the manager, and he says that they're just struggling for players, you know. And when you're struggling for players, you're struggling with options off the bench, and you're struggling to try lads in different places because you don't have them, you know.
And as Podgy said, then you move one, you move another, it upsets the whole balance of your play. And
And if you're one that gets injured, well, then you have to move several lads. Whereas a Kilo or a Clongish can just take out that lad and pop in a similar lad. You don't have to adjust the whole setup. But it just numbers and everything, and it's tough. And after coming off 4 defeats into play at Mullinyock in the final game, like, it was always going to be one-sided.
So I think from our discussions about Mullinalaghta over the season is that they're not the power they were. So where do you place them now? Do you still think it's a possibility?
I know they're playing Killaloe in a quarter final, and you know, on paper you're going to say Killaloe are going to win that handy enough. Why, Jimmy, I tell you, Mullinalaghta won't lie down. They won't lie down for a minute, and they'll give Killaloe plenty of it.
I think we said at the start, many arguments that we're foolish to write them off. Like, as Stephen McGinley said to you, that Leicester they beat Sasha right? They're in the quarter final now, and that's all that matters. Basically, we're in it then because Sasha had to beat Abbey and Dublin, they're going to happen. So they're in Pearse Park now, they're in the final 8, they've just won of 8. They're in the draw. If they win, and remember, Killaloe and Mullinalaghta, they're all rivals now, and they've been many.
Are they adjoining parishes?
No,
No,
they're not joining parishes. But they had one. They the two of them, the one where they were title around for the last 15 years.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, very
it
complicated.
could be an upset. It could be.
Yeah, it's
It's a possibility. Killaloe need to be careful there now.
be careful there, and they might be looking at the bigger picture. And think they have what perceived to be the easier draw, in that Rathfine are playing Carrick-Edmond, and the winners meet Killaloe and Mullinalaghta in the semi-final. So Killaloe are probably saying to themselves, "Gee, you know, this is a great opportunity for us to get into the county final." Just not always work out that way, Jimmy. Coming to the park and the whole lot. Watched Killaloe last week. I thought,
they go to the Phoenix Park. Is the president meeting them?
I don't know what that. It might meet them if they win it. But winning it is not going to be easy. But to be that good opportunity to get to the final again.
You have to get over Mullinyock. That's the first one.
Well, let's move on to the other group there, and I want to start with Carrick-Edmond. I mean, for me, you just don't know. Like, I mean, you talk about Mullinalaghta, don't write them off. Carrick-Edmond now definitely must be in the same class because you can't just write them off.
Can't write them off, and they're going well. And again, they held on against Ramard in the last gasp ball. Just if it had gone 6 inches further to the left, they were out of the championship. It was as narrow as that. So maybe the little bit of luck is with them this year. You know, the controversy of last year might be driving them on to greater and better things. You know what I mean? I think the draw they got against Killaloe was a huge point for them, and I think that's what eventually was the game that saw them across the line. You know, but now they have a very tough task against Rathline, but it's one they can overcome. You know.
Were you at that match?
I'd have to say, for excitement and for attention, this is probably the game of the championship, because even though they're already qualified, Carrick-Edmond had to win. Went behind, went 4 points behind, came back, hit the front nearly, went 2, 3, or 1 there, and then won at Cork, and the fellow we talked about in the earlier progress. Good championship, very good championship, great pace, races through. Looks like what do you do, slap over the guy, and then pops the upright. So maybe Carrick-Edmond deserve a chance to go.
To what extent, lads, now you both have had this experience, you're at a match, or you're looking at the match on club. So how much different is that experience? Now I know we talked about it's great to be able to see the match when you're away, but when you're here and you're reporting on a match and then looking at some of the other matches on club, is there a difference? Obviously there has to be, but in terms of that excitement, do you think that excitement was conveyed on the stream, do you think?
You see, unfortunately with the stream with me, I went most of the matches anyway, so
Yeah.
I've seen it in the beer more or less. At times with the 2-pointer is making it a little bit more difficult to follow. You know, because all of a sudden there are borderline cases, and one player will have his orange flag up, or he won't have his orange flag. And they'd be told to get his orange flag up, and then there's 2 points. And then you might have missed that 2-pointers, and then you're trying to figure out where did they miss a score. We forgot, but the 2-pointer has made it like to read an awful lot of high school.
Yeah.
Which hasn't been ever. Like,
Yeah.
but maybe you might describe that to me.
Well, you had to look at the match afterwards, I think, on Clubber,
You
hadn't
know,
you?
out of my that I can't get to, I will watch them back.
So
somewhere.
did you get that sense of excitement that Pod was talking about?
Well, absolutely, but I think Benny was doing the commentary and he brought that excitement into it, you know, and the commentator can add that excitement and it needs a little bit of, you know, over exaggeration and sometimes to give the guy sitting at home on his couch what's happening there, you know, but you can't beat being there, you know, because it's the full picture of what's happening all over the field, whereas one camera will only give you one perspective, you know. But absolutely, the Clubber thing was just a huge success, you know, and it brings those games to everybody. And they're watching them all over the world where they wouldn't have had the opportunity before. But nothing beats sitting at a live match, watching it in the flesh, you know.
And I don't have the benefit of a replay.
Yeah.
No,
You know, so sometimes actually I
Yeah.
go over the side of to do things. And in cases you'll have to double check.
Oh, yeah.
Just
And you know, sometimes I know with hurling, if you were to do a replay, because I do be trying it myself on occasions, it's almost impossible because if you do a replay, you're going to lose a bit of the.
That's it. What's
follow-on
happening?
play. Now, there is a possibility of doing a picture-in-picture where.
Yeah, T.G. Cahir was
Yeah,
that,
T.G. Cahir do it, but it requires an awful lot of manpower. And even going and talking about Clubber, and I know we talk about this a lot ourselves, but the logistics of having all the people in the right place, like last week, 100 matches covered.
Yeah.
Streamed 100 matches.
Yeah.
And to get all the people in the right place, commentators, camera person,
Yeah.
and also to make sure that Air and the boys are doing their job and getting signals across. It is such a huge operation. Going on to the other games in that group, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Who
well,
else was there?
I was at the Edgestown Granard game. I did the commentary on that one over in Drumlish on Friday night. It was a good game. Look at Mostrom improved. They had a cut at it, you know, and gave it a go. Granard were stronger on the night and deserved their victory, you know. And for Granard, I suppose, they won their last two games and were starting to get men back, starting to get with momentum, and then your game was going out. And when the game was over, they were all watching their phones, waiting for the result of the Dromard Carrie Kedman game to see, and just we were there, like, and you could just see the disappointment when they said, "There's the final result coming. Carrie Kedman have won." After the huge effort to put in for the last two games, and then their championship is
Yeah, I
gone.
have to say there was a great air of expectation and what you could, you got that sense from the Granard supporters. There was a sense we're probably over the line here.
Yeah.
And then within about 3 or 4 minutes, as you say, just turned completely.
Yeah.
Must be very hard.
Usually,
For,
Clubber wanted to do a man of the match, and then Mark Tully would have been my man of the match that night. He was immense, like going forward. But there was no way anybody wanted a microphone stuck in their mouth after being out of the championship. You know, felt sorry for Granard that night, but they just ran out of games and were coming good at the right time. You know?
yeah. And then the other match in that group, Podgy,
Remember we go on Colin Kill. That was
Tyrone Colin Kill, that was
postponed. And just on that,
Yes.
and it was postponed the week before because of a tragedy in the Colin Kill club. And just to the Riley family, the McAvoy family, and to the Heslins in Gowna, you know, just it puts sport into perspective, you know, all of this. And I suppose after the week they had in Columkill, it was hard for them to come out and to play. And I know Cathal Riley came on after half time and he said he got a big
biggest
reception
share
to
of
come
the
on.
evening was for Clark coming on. The bravery should have come on.
Yeah,
And the difference that he made when he came on.
absolutely. Yeah.
This fella has a serious engine. But he was,
Yeah, it took months for him to do it. And, you know, it was a terrible week for them, you know, 2 weeks. You know, so just to express our sympathy from us here, we're all involved there.
it was a sad time for the
It just puts the match in perspective, and maybe the result wasn't the whole issue of, you know, they were both qualified for a quarter final, and maybe the whole thing was just Colin Kill getting out there and fielding and showing their support for Carl and for the Riley family.
right. Okay, lads. So
Just on one that we might have just kind of glossed over a bit was Tremar. You know, we talked about everybody else in the division, and then the real big one is Abidara, Colin Kill. We talked about Colin Kill there now. And Tremar, they're a team. You just don't know about Tremar, do you, Jimmy? You know, like, I mean, they always put a great show over to get to the parent.
You shouldn't have to have their wits about them, you know. They're a tough team. Maybe you haven't met that toughness yet in a team. You know, they might they'll give it a fair go now, Dramar.
The matchups will be interesting. Because they'll be to train the Brexit Jack Dublin. You know, Michael Finn in particular.
But Dublin won't get the space he's been getting. No, they'll have a plan for him. You know, they'll have a plan
So the
there.
matchup very important in the game.
Yeah.
Because that's just Maryland now is going to engage the Maryland team of a lot of Caesar campaigners this year. A good few young fellas coming through now, man,
Yeah.
as well, like, you know. And so you just don't know, like, I mean, like, just,
They'll have their plan done out, and I reckon they'll have it. They'll be ready for it. You know.
Are there any injuries that you're aware of, Podgy, that will influence?
no, I think
The matches now at the
I think
weekend.
Maryland will be in 15 that they have. They'll probably start again, you know.
Any of the other teams have
I know
injury
Jimmy McGivney was
concerns?
injured last. I don't know about the others that well, yeah, but Jimmy McGivney was injured, and whether he'll be right now for the weekend remains to be seen. I don't think anybody went off injured or did the work in any of the games.
He was got a right card in the game against Colin Cahill.
So he'll be.
And that means he's out.
It's the one match he's made, so less than the P that it's like different. It's been known to happen.
Yeah, but Liam, you know, and they have replacements for Liam anyway. You know.
And if the objection hasn't gone in now at this stage, it's unlikely. Won't it, Rob?
No, hello. I don't think they'd be inclined to appeal because they have a very good squad of players. And
Just focus on the game and
somebody
bring the
else will
sport.
come in
Yeah.
and
And of course, Mickey Quinn was back. He started his first game, so
first game of the championship.
then I got another game on the weekend, you know. So
But back, not as sharp as they were. Look like, as I say, the games to bring them on and be.
And Robbie Smith is probably okay for he's over his injury there for
Robbie played against Nationals.
the red card that's gone as a skill against yeah.
Well, that's looking at the two league tables, or looking at the two tables as we normally do. There's no surprises really in either group as to the final positions. Really.
That was Nationals. It was just fine they didn't qualify. I thought actually Jamar might struggle to get out of the group.
Yeah, but they impressed early on.
But then along comes Red Line.
Yeah, but Dramar had Monstrom and Granard in the first two games. I think it was the first two games. So they got settled in well, and they got we'd say their easier opponents early on, which you know.
More or less qualified after the first two games.
Yeah, that's the thing. You see, if you
know,
end up in the draw, sometimes
so
you get you there.
the pressure wasn't really much on Jamar as such, but that won't stop them putting in a big performance on the weekend. The game of the week is on 2 Saturday and 2 Sunday. And Jamar didn't get checks, and Jamar started off with Championship Fair Club to and then you have followed by Red Edmund. And then on first match on Sunday is Kiro. Also home
Yeah.
Regardless,
Love English. The four
again, the
games.
game of the weekend in without that was the Laverne Club. So
And that's the second match on Sunday, is it?
was the second match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're being last year's final.
Yeah.
They went to extra time.
That's extra time. Yeah, and just saw that Abbey won it.
I mean, if I was picking their course,
I think we picked everybody to win. Championship this though. I think we're
I
sort of sitting on the fence.
just like the way they're set up now. Your man is back from America, Kieran Scanlon.
Oh yeah,
He didn't test out the other day. He was there, and they might start him against Conor Gill, but it's good enough to be started. I'm not sure it should.
Football. Really well in football.
See what he does there and what he does. But that could be every bit of say again. That, but then what the situation is in draws, you know, that's the time. This other one.
Oh yeah,
have to go
the
down.
semi-finals are fixed for the 28th, so 27 to 28. So
Show house.
oh yeah, it'll be a winner on the day.
Winner on the day.
Yeah, winner on the day. Penalties or whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah. So
extra time.
could be at least one draw. But
Very good, lads. Will we move on then to the other intermediate and the junior championships? Or
Yeah.
you might start us off there in the intermediate there, Jim.
I don't. Yeah. Well, the two semi-finals are Cashel against Ardhamaidu, and then the other one, then you have Ballymahan against Killashee. So I was just in Cashel. I had a minor game last week, talking to a few of them over there. They're not overly confident now that they're going to get across Ardhamaidu. They fancy Ardhamaidu to go the whole way in the intermediate.
Will that match? Will all these matches now be in Peters?
no, everything knows it.
Everything now is in
They're
Peters.
semi-finals. They're down to the
Yeah,
last four. now, so
yes,
that's really quick in the intermediate.
Yeah,
They're on the one day too.
right.
Sunday week.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't get to the intermediate, so Parry could probably be better up. You know.
Intermediates. I was in Ireland. I do now against Conley's, and that kind of slipped under the radar. That was a great win for Ireland. I do. Who had to win the match because they lost to Killashee. And Killashee got them by 6. Now, I was trying to figure out how did Killashee beat Ireland by 6 points, because apparently in the first half it was all Ireland because they were very good forwards. Like Dylan Cody, he scored 1-6 against what's called Conley's. And Conley's were very dependent on the turns. But Conley's are still suffering from losing them 2 finals. You know, like
I wonder how long Mick Lynch will have left. Will they leave him again for next year?
as I say,
Will Mick have the energy to go again?
that was in league, and I have to say the league and grounds are in great condition. Andy Flood Park, fantastic playing surface, and everybody was. TJ Ward was there making sure everything was under order, and then we had the chief steward David Nutley, Davey.
Yeah.
Davey does a lot of the talking for the club, and people like maybe son of Max Nutley, who will be a legend for league. And I don't know how Max is helping us, but I know him.
Yeah, I saw him there because I could have players with League in there. And
Yeah.
I haven't seen him.
Great character.
Yeah.
Great love of support for them too. So Wigan just still have their own championship to worry about through the June. You know, but
Just about.
and tell us, Podgy, the junior championships. Then, can you say a few bits about them?
before I go, we better mention the locals here. Ballymahan.
Shams.
The Shams. The Shams had to. They had to beat Ballymore. What was it, Jimmy?
Ballymore could afford to lose by 5 points to qualify.
Still got you.
The lost by 8.
After leading by 7.
Yeah.
It was a 15-point swing in that game. So in came Ballymahan as we final, and out came Ballymore into the relegation playoff. And Ballymore was actually one of the 2 previous games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now Ballymahan are there in a situation that we'll be quietly confident that she'll be in there.
Give them a huge lift too.
And actually, I was talking about Darren Finnes. He's over in America, but if he's back, he's a big piece. He was on the county squad this year. So, in the media semi-finals, generally very tight.
Yeah.
You know.
So wait, Cesar, they're a long time down in the intermediate grade, you know? They're a long time down the garden, we do.
The area, and actually we're a junior team at one stage last year, them in Cashel for a bit. And then changing as well.
Like they used to, they used to be great. They're just on an hour back in the 80s, you know, King then.
So anyway, if they're driving,
You can.
it's now they're in the. I'm going to get to the final. When they were initially supposed to be on the junior championship, but the team has changed a lot. To me, it was only way to come in state senior.
Well, we're not going to get into that.
No.
We're not going to go into all.
Because I mean, they would have been too strong for them to me.
What's the whole point? They just don't beat them in the relegation final like last year. They get to go on.
No, lads. Can I just move on quickly then to the juniors? And
They
as the
fixed on the
fences.
house that. Would Edgerton still be
They
singing?
weren't-
No.
Now, Jimmy, your problem is you take the bait too easy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
Can we talk about the junior matches? Jimmy, that
well,
might keep you quiet.
you'll probably be getting to the intermediate matches next year if Slashers are on to do it Friday night against Edgerton. You know,
Oh.
get the more intermediate matches.
Whoa!
So I'm saying that.
Easy, lads, easy.
You were
Is it
talking
too
earlier
close
on
together?
about, look at when we beat Edgerton and we beat the Gales, we should be safe enough now. So
He's not going to put the blink in it or something. He is.
I would never put that. No.
Former player and all that.
I never
That's-
feel saying no
that's-
Edgerton.
No.
They're trying to close up here shortly now. Can I get you to
They'll have to pull
Stick
me
to
in
the-
Warring Park.
Yeah, can you stick to the plan?
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
In the junior.
What was the
Yes.
Junior, Killore going well in the junior second string.
Mm.
They topped the table. Conditional second. And they're both of them playing the last round actually. So one of them's going to finish top. Vegan are in tower, and it looks like Carrick and their key man Patrick Carroll.
Yeah.
I think Patrick might be getting another run there. And
Patrick Keegan, he's the real man.
And
To build the team around that.
eventually was able around Patrick, you know. And so
Maybe we should put one of these cameras on him next to the cheek,
Well,
and
really-
he can talk his way through the
Yeah.
I'm
game.
going to get one of them slow motion
Slow
ones.
He's very fast. He is.
It's unbelievable. This fella now is a joy to watch.
Yeah.
And but anyway,
He was ref in a match, a minor match between Edgerton and Cashel last night, and he had a red jersey on it, and Edgerton were wearing red, and he was the smallest on the pitch, and we thought he was a little nippy corner forward. We couldn't, we lost him in the crowd.
Patrick enjoys a good time like any young fella. We all done it.
Yeah.
And the best of luck to him. And he's a great help to me and the clubber for his commentaries and for his reporting. And he's very knowledgeable young chap.
I heard Kerry Morton on the commentary for Clubber there last week as well.
Oh, Gary.
Gary, yeah, the councillor.
All right.
He was on.
Oh, Gary is very, I remember
Very
Gary.
knowledgeable.
Gary is
He's an active fifth man, is he?
Yeah.
Played with Colin Cleveland. Played with the county.
I did join commentary with him. It was before Clubber when Longford used to stream them when Colin Kill won the championship. Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Richard, he was fairly excited that it was a real wet.
He was animated, as they say.
He was in tears when the final whistle went.
Chairman of the county council now.
Yeah.
You know, and a lovely fellow. Horrible nice fellow now. It's every word, isn't it? Horrible nice fellow.
Horrible nice. Horrible nice.
Well, folks, we'll be back next week.
Jenny, you're skipping on there.
The hurling, is it?
Oh, well, yes.
The hurling.
And Longford, New York. We discussed this.
Others and others, is it?
Oh, Longford, New York won the junior championship in New York on Sunday.
Footballers.
Did they?
Yes.
How come you didn't tell me about that?
I told you before.
Did anybody? Were you not invited over to commentate?
No, but I had two nephews on the Longford team.
So we start
three
that all
Edgerton.
again. So what are we talking about now?
Longford, GA in New York, they have teams of there's about 16 teams.
Yes.
The Longford have a team over there, the
All right.
Longford version of New York. So they won the junior championship.
All right.
The Junior A Championship.
Junior A championship. It was in Gaelic on Sunday. And there was, I think there was 6 Longford men on the street match. So Daniel Connell, Corey Joyce and Adam Halpin. And there was, JJ Matthews, he wasn't playing, but he'd be on the panel. There was
We ended the first game. Conor Keenan.
Conor Keenan.
Scored 6
Yeah.
points.
and there's a
Conor from Fadaman Gales.
Niall Farley from Colin and there was a Harkin, Harkin from Keena?
Yeah, Harkin. There's another Harkin, I think, or somebody.
Yes, he's Stephen Harkin.
Oh, so he's a Steve.
Yeah.
So
Are these match streamed, lads? No, they're
It
not.
was on a channel. I didn't know until afterwards, but it's I think it was $11 to watch it or something. But I didn't know until after the fact that it was live. And
Yeah.
brother was watching. He says the reception wasn't great. I think that you must have been doing the camera work.
Well, at least I turned up. At least I turned up to do my camera work.
was
And I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it at that.
One that
folks.
show the country make with your camera.
Men like Joe Prunty ordered saw him with the team afterwards, and Conor Halpin from Kilo, Jimmy Halpin's son, he's the chairman of the board over there. You know, it's a great setup.
Conor Keenan is the son of Joe Keenan. Busy Fingers front man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Check the fall trades. Doesn't we're working leader here. Joel fix it. Your clarity.
The hurling, Jimmy.
The hurling as well, yeah.
So we have the two finalists now.
Yeah, Wolf Tones are playing Slashers now on the 28th in the final. So Wolf Tones were playing Clongish on Sunday afternoon there down in Slashers. And look, it was a good start for Clongish to go up 1-2 to no score early on, but that was as good as a that for them, you know. So
I was very surprised now because I was filming down the country for Clubber last weekend. Couldn't get film in that match, but I was very surprised to hear that Clongish were beaten. So I was chatting to you earlier, and you told me there were reasons possibly why they were beaten so handily.
yeah, but look at it. Clongish are struggling for numbers the last while, and underage, they're struggling. And like Joe O'Brien would have been holding them together for a lot of years there, you know, and Joe isn't playing with them this year. Ocean Gately is injured, Jerry Moore is injured. None of the footballers are playing because they're focusing on winning the Connolly Cups. So there was none in the full like the likes of Matthew Finn, who normally is a very good hurler, and there's others as well. So none of those are playing. You know, so they struggle with numbers. And Paul Barton, I think he did his other knee, and I think he did his other knee on Sunday as well. You know, so but they're struggling for nothing. They're struggling, you know. Oh, not just not the big one. So it's just the struggle, you know. And,
Well, just from a final, a team that won the final now be bottom of the heap. I suppose it can just happen.
that's the way they were down from hurling. You get a good run of it, and then you're down again, you know. Well, that should run the up now at the minute. But
I don't think I missed that hurling match this year. No,
but they hadn't watched the whole thing because we didn't discuss the
we
hurling.
discussed it on the show.
And we had clips.
But now, Jamie, I'm just going to say something to you. I was looking at that, the picture that's put up,
Yeah.
and I said that man is not happy in his nappy. Anyway, that's for sure. So I don't think anything you, me, or you, Podgy, will do would make that man happy. And I could be very, very wrong.
But if you had gone and watched the whole podcast, he would have seen that we did discuss the hurling.
Yeah, and it's very hard to
And he
actually.
doesn't realise we're just three individuals here sitting in
Yeah,
the galleries.
it's very hard to get to all these matches because we all have our own lives and we have our own things going on. And then when the matches are on, we try to get to as many of them and film them as possible, but it's not always possible.
We
And-
covered here, and we four girls and all from the first, even from this week's paper.
Mm.
Pictures and all, report and all. Tony G, I could make it myself, so Tony G was there. Tony's the hurler signature. You just,
There's nothing better to be doing than, you know.
well,
like,
it is,
you know.
it's only our opinion anyway then.
That's it,
you know.
He doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. Or she, maybe.
I don't know what it was. So say it was there a mask on it? It was like the mask.
I didn't even go in.
Okay.
It's good reaction actually.
Well, I saw there was.
trailer.
Yeah, I was looking at the comments. There was 5 comments because normally, folks, we might have 1 or 2 comments. It's, oh God, we're out to having 5 comments. And I see this man is a keyboard warrior fighting our side. Well, look, folks, that's the end of tonight's session, and we look forward to the quarterfinals. Can I ask you, folks, if as they say in all good YouTube videos, I think there's a bell and there's a subscription thing somewhere down here. I could be wrong. I don't know whether it's over here or is it over there. It could be up here as well. Or maybe it's over there. But when you click that subscribe and when you also click the bell, because then you get a notification when the next show comes online.
And when you're at that, make sure you go on to jimmyjess.com and buy tickets for my show. Okay? Thanks very much.
Just on that, when you're talking with the hurling there, Jimmy, Slashers are in the final.
Yeah.
And it's on the 28th of September. So that's in a couple of, just over 2 weeks' time. So, hurling is the big day out for hurling, the college.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's only 3 clubs competing this year level. But it's not the fault, they're doing their very best. And as I say, so a lot of hurling matches this year. And a lot of young fellas, local, homegrown talent, which are very sweet and Jimmy.
Of course, and the one under 17, the one that under 15 competitions that they were
Actually,
in.
I just like to see Waffle Redstone, man. When it comes to awards, it goes in there.
And folks, we're going to try and cover those matches. And I think Clubber covered the hurling final,
They do.
and they do. They obviously do the senior matches, and they'll also do the intermediate and junior finals, I think. But we'll try and provide as much extra coverage as possible on the day. and give a different perspective on the games. But please do subscribe and hit the notification bell there. And the other thing is, we're hoping to do an up for the match type program before the senior men's county finals. So we'll have more information on that coming up later on. Okay, so folks, as we all know, we don't realise what some people are going through. So if we can be just nice to people, those around us, and maybe if you go home and even Podgy here deserves an old cuddle every so often, even though he does be a bit grumpy at times. If your mammy makes you your dinner, would you ever just say to her, "Thanks, ma'am, for that dinner"? Or if somebody does you a favour, your brother gets you something, just say, "Thanks, Johnny, for doing that." It's not often.
Small price to pay.
As long as it's not spaghetti bolognese again.
Yeah, well, look at so, folks, as Brendan Riley would say, do us a favour, mind yourselves.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks, folks. Thanks,
Thank
Jimmy.
you, Michael.